Yeah, that's where I found everything. I haven't
Jesus.
found anything on Kiwi Farms. The only thing that has been sent to me was that clip of Poppy and Xena Poppy talking about finger banging that chick at the Renaissance Festival. That's the only thing that I've seen.
Sorry. Anyway, so you were saying about this Spawn document, right? Hello.
Hello, hello. How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you.
Okay. So before we get into anything, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm FT Mongoose or Malcolm. Um, I like the trans drama. It's so insular. There's everybody knows each other. The drama is just so hot and juicy. So that's kind of what I enjoy doing.
I mean, I feel like we've kind of known of each other for quite a long time. Like, I always remember you being very woke. No?
Uh, yeah. I mean, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know. I've always been kind of edgy. I get in a lot of shit because like a lot of the community that I've cultivated is like a trans community, obviously. So like a lot of people like hate my takes and shit. I've always been kind of on the edgier side. So I mean like woke, yes, but I'm not,
Not too
not
crazy with
not
it,
like
so to speak, right?
not
Wow.
not mega woke, not mega woke.
I mean, you're speaking to me, so that speaks for something, I guess. I mean, a lot of people from that end of the spectrum don't really like me that much anymore, sadly. So, um,
Well, it's a guilty pleasure of mine. I'm a big fan of the rape reviews.
oh my god. Okay. Right. So, you've been covering this Poppy and Xena stuff way more than me.
I have. It's been my guilty pleasure lately. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it. I think the thing that I was really frustrated with, I was happy to see that you kind of did a video about it, because like Poppy and Xena are the kind of people that they kind of thrive on the anonymity of being able to do this in like their like little community or whatever. So the fact that it's leaving their little pocket and kind of going a little bit more mainstream, I think is helpful because I think that anybody who reads any of the Google Docs or any of the logs and stuff and like isn't severely mentally ill can read really clearly that these people are like fucking crazy.
Uh, yeah, I mean, that's the kind of obvious impression that I took away is that these people seem absolutely insane. And like, I can understand that they don't like the fact that maybe their kid is around after, all these years. But by the same time, it's like they're treating them like absolute shit. And it doesn't seem to be helping. I don't know. Is that your kind of read on it? Or.
Yeah, the only thing that I said the other day that I'm kind of irritated about is whoever wrote that Google document did kind of a shitty job with it. I don't think that Spawn is the one that wrote it. I think somebody helped Spawn write it. Um, but like Spawn excuse me, Spawn like had a job. Spawn has a degree. Like Spawn isn't like so mentally disabled that they need like a full-time caretaker. It reads to me if anybody needs a full-time caretaker, it's actually like Poppy and Xena. But the way that they frame it is that like Spawn was just like so stupid and like so dumb and so disabled that they had to have like a strict routine for a full-grown adult instead of like letting this 24-year-old that pays rent and lives in their house kind of like do their own thing. So that's like one criticism I have of whoever wrote that document. But there's like so much more shit that goes into it, and the Spawn stuff I think is especially fucked up because Spawn is like their kid, right? Like that's like a different level of fucked up when you're willing to act like that to your kid. But a lot of the stuff with them is mostly around like their weird like polygamous. They have like I would say like a sex cult, like a legitimate like polyamorous sex cult, and that's where shit gets like really fucking weird.
Oh my god. Okay. You've gone fucking deep on this, clearly. Um,
And there's even more is the worst part is I've read so much shit and there's still more. Like and I just can't get through all of it. It's just so much shit.
Okay. Um, let's just start from the beginning, or at least where maybe some of my audience might have seen this. So, can you just like briefly lay out the kind of main claims around Poppy, and Xena, and this and Spawn, the kid?
So what essentially happened is so the first thing that I could find was like in 2022, there was like an ex of Poppy who had said that Poppy was like really abusive and really manipulative. This didn't blow up by like any means, and they just kind of hand waved it. 2023, Poppy and Xena started dating this person named Noe, and this was like a Discord relationship. So they would just like sext each other in Discord basically all the time. and they had planned to meet up over Christmas, and they got in like a big fight because Poppy, even though she's like this polyamorous queen, like hates that her partners have other partners. She really just wants like a harem. She doesn't want like polyamory. She wants to have like multiple partners, but gets pissed when her partners have other partners. So they got in like this big fight. Noe was like, "Don't come and see me. I don't want to see you. I'm breaking up with you." And then what ensued after that was like 8 hours of just like spam messages like, "Please come and see me. I can fix this. Please no." Like you got a little taste of that with the White Nervosa, like the way that she kind of just like freaked the fuck out when White Nervosa clapped their website. So she did this to Noe for like a whole day. Xena was doing it too. They were doing like good cop, bad cop. Noe is like, "Fine, fuck, like I'll come and hang out with you guys." Like Jesus Christ. Noe goes to visit them. They hook up supposedly like when they meet up or whatever. And after the fact, Noe was like, "I actually don't want to. I still don't want to date you. Like I told you before I came down here. Like I don't want to date you. I don't want to fuck you. I don't want to like keep being anything other than like maybe acquaintances on Discord." And Poppy took that and said that Noe raped her by deception because she had said that like they hooked up under the pretense that they were like going to be in a relationship, and because they broke up that it wasn't quote unquote informed and it was under false pretenses, and that she was raped by deception. And that's kind of the thing that was like a little nuke. And so like Gay Fest started talking about it, Luxander started talking about it, and then from that have been people that have been documenting all this stuff, and somehow they got in contact with Spawn, and they were like, "Did you have any fuck
Just
shit
I don't want
going
to cut you
on?"
off too much, okay?
Oh,
But
you're good.
when you say people have been documenting it, I think you and I both know who exactly has been documenting it, and you've been using the dark arts, I think, to cover some of
No,
this.
sir. I
But I don't
have
want to
I
get
have
you
a
in trouble.
hot take for you. I have a hot take for you. Tumblr is Kiwi
Okay.
Farms for queer people. Okay. I found every single bit of this information not on Kiwi Farms.
No
Every
way.
single thing that I have found has been on Tumblr.
That's crazy. Yeah, in fact, that's probably some truth. I can imagine that's true because if you look at some of the stuff on the forum, there's definitely a lot of Tumblr links and stuff that you see.
Yeah, that's where I found everything. I haven't
Jesus.
found anything on Kiwi Farms. The only thing that has been sent to me was that clip of Poppy and Xena Poppy talking about finger banging that chick at the Renaissance Festival. That's the only thing that I've seen.
Sorry. Anyway, so you were saying about this Spawn document, right?
Yeah, so that was kind of the context as to like how Spawn got involved, because people had found out like, "Oh, Poppy has a fucking kid. Like, I wonder if she was doing like weird shit with the kid too. Not like weird like pedophile shit, but just like, being like shitty to the kid as well." And that's kind of how that blew up.
Right. Got it. Okay. Yeah. I mean, obviously, I've had a look at some of the stuff, and I've had a very quick skim through it. Um, like, what extra stuff off the back of my coverage did you think I'd maybe missed that was worth talking about?
Oh, dude, the Noe shit is just crazy. There's a Google Doc for that one as well. It's long as fuck, just like the other one was, and it's horrible to read. But like the way that she is like so manipulative to people is just like it's crazy to read. It's and she, claims to have DID as well. So it would be like cycling through like the altars and being like, "Please talk to us. Like, we're gonna fucking kill ourselves." Like, "Hello, it's me. I love you." It's just like crazy to fucking read. The other thing that I wanted to bring up that I think is really interesting as well, they're on private on Twitter right now, so you can't see it. But on their Twitter before, they had like this pinned, like, it's like a Guardian Acorn article. It's like a blog kind of this person, and the picture is like a picture of Noe, and it says rapist over the front of it.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah,
Mhm.
afterwards I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, so this article is written by this person named Annie Gallagher. And so the article talks about like why they're defending Poppy and Xena essentially, and it's because Poppy and Xena defended them in the past. And this Annie Gallagher person is a fucking pedophile. This person had a Discord server where 15-year-olds were posting nudes, and they let minor attracted people like maps, like actual fucking pedophiles, in the Discord server. And this is the person that's fucking defending Poppy.
Okay, wait. I need to word this carefully. In term, when I say this, I don't mean like the images themselves, but has it been documented and proved that this was happening at least?
Yeah, I have
So you
like
say it with confidence is what I mean, right?
so I have this. I'll DM this to you right now. This is a
Okay.
web archive link. So what ended up happening is one of the administrators for that Discord server, they rolled. And so one of the things that they were saying is like, "Oh, this is like super unethical because you're violating revenge porn laws," basically like doing an entire leak of the Discord server. This article only has the screenshots of people's ages and then them talking about posting nudes. This one doesn't have
Right.
like the actual fucking content in it because that's obviously child pornography. But like there were nudes of minors in this Discord server.
Right. Okay. Um. Yeah. So I can see. I mean, yeah. I guess I can show this because, like you said, it's nothing TOS worthy. Sorry, guys. Sorry. My bad. Okay. Right. I've turned it off now. So yeah, you can see here. Can I have my rolls back, please? I want to repost my nudes here. And then in the other screenshot, you can see they're saying they're 15. What?
Yeah. And I have the link to the article as well. It's literally just word soup, like as most
Right.
of these fucking leaks are and shit. But this is this Annie Gallagher person like explaining the drama around it or whatever. And she's like, yeah, I let this person named Zeeb Demon in the Discord server who like is admittedly a pedophile, but he wasn't being like weird or creepy, so I just like let him be in there.
I'm absolutely brain blasted by that. That's crazy. And this person wrote an article calling this other person a rapist off the back of what was it? Poppy is the one. Poppy made this bullshit story about having sex under false pretenses and called them a rapist. And this person who had underage people and pedophiles mixing, and the underage people sharing nudes, wrote an article calling them a rapist and defending Poppy. Have I got that right?
Yes, sir.
Fucking hell. This goes
Yeah.
way deeper than I ever fucking realized. That's mental.
There's so much of it. There's two other ones that are like semi-relevant. One of them has been nuked. I can't get on Poppy's fucking Twitter because she's private right now, but she had basically been like blackmailing this person that had said that she had like a weird experience with Poppy or whatever. So this person was 18 years old. Poppy's like 43. I think Poppy's old as fuck. So this person's like 18 years old. Poppy's like, come and stay with me. This person comes to stay with Poppy, and Poppy is like walking around naked, like flashing her tits and like trying to make this person uncomfortable and shit. And so this person made a post about it, was like, in light of everything that's come out, like this was really weird in hindsight. And Poppy was like, if you don't delete this post, I'm gonna fucking nuke you. And so this person like redacted all of their shit so they wouldn't get nuked. And she also has this weird thing where she puts like full ass, like furry pussy and ass and titties, like in her general chat in her Discord server where there's minors. And when the minors are like, can you censor this, please? They're like, no, it's just art. It's fucking wild, dude.
Fucking hell. I mean, in some cases I would be like, well, where's the evidence of this? Where's the evidence of that? I've seen some of this stuff kind of broadly, and it does not surprise me that sort of thing is going on. In fact, I think I've seen the exact screenshots that you're talking about on a certain place, and yeah, like it's like a very lewd picture of a furry, and there's
Mhm.
people that are minors complaining, and they're like refusing to take it down. Um, I mean, talk to me about this sex cult thing. That's quite a big claim. What do you mean by that exactly?
So they do. So I'm gonna just shoot you. This is the Noe doc that has like all the shit in it. There's like a little clip at
Jesus.
the beginning of this. It's like a half an hour about where Poppy is kind of talking about her like opinions on polyamory and shit like that. And the only thing that I really took away from it is like this person shouldn't be in any kind of relationship, never mind like a polyamorous relationship. But nonetheless, like she continually like scrapes her Discord and her community for these like mentally ill like BPD girls to date. And then she like invites them into like her little BPD circle or whatever. And this has been like a repeatable pattern. If you go to the Tumblr or whatever, there's so many people that this has happened to where she'll like invite somebody into her polycule, they'll like date or whatever the fuck, and then she'll be like, it's triggering to me that you're posting about your other partner, it's triggering to me that you're having dates with your other partner, it's triggering to me that you're in a relationship with this other person or whatever, and essentially like shoves them into like this little box where they can't do polyamory, but Poppy can do polyamory with them. And they, like you saw yesterday with the ones that you showed on stream, where like she'll cycle through partners like every couple of
Right.
months, like she just
Yes.
rotates in and out and in and out. And it's always like mentally ill girls on Discord, like always, like exclusively.
Yeah, no, I noted that. It seemed like there was a new person every week. And in fact, it felt like there was I think one person left and then came back into it even. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah, that's crazy. So you think that it's kind of like taking advantage essentially of these people who are, mentally unwell in Discord to benefit their own kind of sexual proclivities, essentially.
Yeah, and I think it's hard because like a lot of the people that are like in the harem essentially, are kind of like brain fucked. So they're not gonna like leak shit or whatever. But the person that Poppy is like dating right now, the Sage person, like she's obviously like brain fucked. Like you can just kind of see it in the way that like and the thing is Poppy leaks all this shit herself. Like she doesn't have any problem just like putting all this stuff in the open, how comfortable she is talking about like finger blasting somebody at a Renaissance fair. She doesn't know when to shut the fuck up. So like even in the logs and shit that she posts about her current partners and stuff, it's so like obvious to anybody again that isn't like a mentally ill Discord kitten that like this person is just like brain fucking the shit out of people, like
Mm.
bringing people in, like fucking them over, like getting what she wants, then dumping them. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I genuinely have got a perspective of like, if people do what they want in the bedroom, that's up to them at the end of the day. I'm not like a kind of conservative in that respect that I would want control over that. But it does feel sometimes like some of these people have these kind of very public, very explicit, obvious kink discussions and stuff that can lead to problems. Like, for example, I think someone left a comment that was a joke about whether or not they could suck dick if they were not if they were fasting. And I think Poppy responded with a sexual comment, then got upset when the person got bothered by that, right?
Yeah.
Like, it sounds like Poppy is always very on and like looking for opportunities to engage in sexualized behavior constantly, which seems to be like a mistake to me. Like, you should have some limit on that, surely, so you don't end up in those situations, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's just like I think she's just like porn sick, honestly, because like I like the other thing the other day that you went over where she was like, I want to get bottom surgery so I can stop like getting aroused in public. It's like what? Like, is that really like all that you can do is like think about sex? Is that honestly your entire existence? It's just very bizarre.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I might have. Listen, I've got some takes about the trans stuff that we may even disagree on, right? So we don't need to get into it exactly, but it just seems crazy to me that I would have thought that the reason you get bottom surgery is because mainly of like a dysphoric feeling and it feeling very uncomfortable to have the wrong equipment, so to speak. But to make it about a pornography thing, it just sounds it not only sounds crazy to me, but I think from like an optics perspective, I think people are going to look at that and they're going to use that to come to conclusions broadly about trans people. And I don't know, it just
Yeah,
seems
for
like maybe
sure.
people should have a bit more self control to not say all this crazy shit, so they end up smearing every trans person with this idea that they're all just a complete sexual degenerate.
Yeah, for sure. Because like I would say that I think that a part of bottom dysphoria can absolutely be like sex shit, right? Like if you have
Yeah.
genitals that you don't like or you don't want, or maybe you want like a different set or what have you. I can understand how that could be like that's a motivator for sure. But to just come out and say like, yeah, the reason that I wanted is so like people can't see my boner at Target when my partner sends me like tit pics. It's like, oh, okay, I guess.
Jesus Christ. Okay, yeah. Well, I appreciate you checking out my coverage. I saw on Twitter that you had, and yeah, I mean, I tried to be kind of fair to the situation and see all sides. But is there anything else you kind of wanted to get across and wanted to point out in all of this that maybe I've missed or you haven't spoken about yet?
The only thing that I will point out, do you know who Lily Orchard is? Do you know any of that shit?
I kind of do off the back of the Essence of Thought coverage, and then obviously the recent plagiarism controversy. But yeah, I know a bit about Lily Orchard doing some weird stuff with minors vaguely. That's about it, really.
So this like I felt like I was raped spiritually. In kind of going over this. So Lily Orchard, for people who don't know, was like a she did like brony shit or whatever. That was like her thing. She had like a bunch of fucking followers on YouTube. She was pretty big on YouTube. And so Lily has two other siblings, and one of them is named Courtney. And Courtney was like looking for somebody with a platform to talk to about her experiences growing up with Lily, essentially. And so she reached out to Poppy, and Poppy was like, yeah, of course, like I'm happy to have you on and you can talk about it or whatever. So Poppy kind of built her platform on this Lily Orchard, Courtney Orchard shit, right? She had like the
Mhm.
exclusive interviews with Courtney, all this other stuff or whatever. So what essentially happened is that Lily Orchard incestuously raped her sister for years as a child, like as a minor, like as young as 3 years old, like actual like violent, disgusting, incestuous rape, like very, very fucked up stuff. Okay. So Courtney was like, I'm having trouble because my sister has like this big ass fucking platform, right? And she's like dangerous. So can I come on your show and like talk about this? So Poppy does like all these videos. These are the most popular videos on her channel. Like she had like the monopoly on this content essentially. And she has Courtney on. First of all, the interviews suck. You could just assume that Poppy sucks at conducting conversations. However, the entire time they're doing these conversations, Poppy is like fucking hitting on her. So that was one weird thing. Okay. So after they're done talking, and Courtney again is in Courtney has a YouTube video if you want to watch it, like explaining the abuse. Like I'm not kidding. Like watch this like off stream, like this is fucked up shit. Like this
Right.
is probably the most disgusting and disturbing shit I've ever heard in my entire life. And so after they have this conversation, and Courtney is like sharing all of this horrible, horrible stuff, Poppy takes this opportunity to say, I think that incest is really hot. I'm going to send you some incest porn that I think is hot. Do you also think this is hot? And it was fucking sibling incest porn after this girl was just on her stream, like fucking crying and like talking about wanting to kill herself because of the horrible incestuous rape that happened to her as a child.
That's crazy. And this is documented, I presume. There's some proof of this
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah, so Poppy claims that she has logs that Courtney was like into incest as well, and they would like go back and forth with stuff like this or whatever. Poppy will not release those logs because I don't believe it for a second. Courtney has said like on multiple occasions that she has like documented evidence of her like, and obviously you saw the tweets yesterday where Poppy is like very openly like, I think incest is fucking hot. And it wouldn't surprise me if like her risless, like completely holeless behavior of not knowing the appropriate time to like flirt with somebody or not, that she would take this as an opportunity to be like, dude, isn't this like I know that you were crying, but like it's kind of hot, don't you think? Like that doesn't I would not be surprised at all.
Well, the other problem with that as well is like people can develop certain attractions and weird kinks or whatever off the back of really bad experiences. But even if that was true, it's still completely inappropriate to have someone on to have that conversation and then use it as an opportunity to have a sexualized thing. Like, you should always have a distance. If someone's coming on to talk about some sexual negative experience or whatever it is, there should never be any sort of flirtatious there. It should just be a hard line that, like it's an ethical thing, right? Like you don't want to be doing that. I don't know if you know much about this, but Edwin spoke to a woman that accused Mama Max and then ended up flirting with them and having a sexualized aspect. And it's just like,
Yeah, it's just like fucked up. Like there is a time and a place, of course. Like if you're somebody who wants to be like flirty on Discord or whatever the fuck, like that's none of my business. I don't care. But like to be so sick and twisted that somebody is like,
yeah,
sharing their trauma with you and then you're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know what, this is a really good time to make a pass. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, it's like, like you say, it's kind of this porn sick aspect of like always looking for these opportunities to the point where you even do it as inappropriate. Yeah, it sounds crazy. Good Lord.
Yeah.
What? Well,
It
listen,
it goes deep as fuck, bro. Deep, deep as fuck.
I mean, it's actually because I saw some of your tweets about it, and yeah, it kind of made me think to look, and I've obviously looked in different places to you, maybe perhaps, but I found kind of the same information, and it all just seems totally fucked. Yeah, I mean, what's the deal? Like, how are they handling this or dealing with this exactly?
I'm not really sure because they're on private on Twitter.
Mm,
Last night they did like a stream. They did like a 3.5 hour stream, and it was basically them just being like, just essentially like shit talking Spawn. And then at the end of it, they were like, Spawn, if you don't stop posting this stuff, we're gonna sue you. And it's like, well, I don't know if that makes you guys look good in the way that you think it does. Like maybe that should be like a private thing.
yeah, taking your child to court for defamation sounds insane. I mean, like,
Yeah, I
yeah, you would have thought like that's yes, it's public and yes, it's a bit more complicated, but you would hash that out in a for me in a family type way. Threatening litigation is mental.
yeah, I was gonna say like kind of going back and forth with your kid on like fucking stream is crazy as an adult.
Yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, okay. Well, yeah. Was there anything else you wanted to cover?
There was one thing that I had in my brain and it just flew right out of my ears. Oh, fuck. Oh, I was gonna say the other thing too is that Poppy is a therapist, but she isn't practicing right now. She got fired because of all the crazy shit that she was doing online. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, I
Well,
think I think that's it, relevant information that she, kind of has a master's degree in like mind fucking people. So
Okay, well, listen, that's actually another angle that I kind of was aware of but wasn't familiar with. So how did the loss of the job come about?
What ended up happening was people were like, so what I've been told, and I don't have any way to verify this, this is just what I've been told, is that Poppy was very open about like who she worked for and very open about like her relationship with the person that she worked for. Apparently her boss was her roommate for a while, which is probably not good. But what ended up happening like after the Noe stuff, like people saw those screenshots and they were like, dude, what the fuck? So they were like, just so you know, like your employee basically is going like fucking ballistic on the internet right now, and the job was like you can either stop like schizo posting on Twitter or you can lose your job. And Poppy was like, okay, I'm not gonna stop schizo posting on Twitter, so she chose to continue to be unhinged and deranged on the internet instead of have a real life job.
So okay, so well, obviously, allegedly, we don't know for sure, but this is what we know as much as we can. They were given the option: stay at your job or stop the online stuff. And Poppy decided to stay with the online stuff and quit their job.
Yeah, I can't get on her Twitter right now because it's private, but she tweeted that herself. Her tweet
Right,
was
got it.
that her job gave her like an ultimatum essentially, and she chose to continue to do the internet stuff.
Do they even? I mean, did the pair of them make much money doing the online stuff? Do you know?
I don't think so. Um, because like obviously I can only speculate, but because they like crowdfund pretty regularly for stuff, I would imagine that they don't make that much money. Even when like she was working, that they would, continue to crowdfund for stuff. I would imagine that they probably didn't make that much money just doing streaming alone.
Yeah, the trans GoFundMe industrial complex is kind of how I think of that often. You seem to often have people who are crowdfunding for one thing or another, rent, new equipment. Um, I mean, it's fine within reason, I think, particularly if you're a smaller creator. But you know, if it just seems crazy that you would constantly do that, and then if you do that and then you quit your job, it just seems like you're putting yourself into more financial turmoil. Um,
Yeah, I think that at the time, and I don't have the screenshot in front of me. I think the dates might be like lining up because I think that the whole shit with Spawn was about money. I think that they
mhm.
thought that they had like more wiggle room with the money than they did. Especially when they were talking about putting Spawn under like a guardianship and shit like that. I think it's because they wanted the money. So I think they thought that was like a good fallback, but that kind of fell through, obviously.
Yeah, damn. Well, I mean, yeah, so you've been covering this quite extensively from the sounds of it, then.
Unfortunately, yeah. I have gone to corners of the internet that I wouldn't go in real life with a gun. So
What's got you into this in terms of like what's made you want to cover it so much? Do you think exactly?
mostly that like nobody like seems to talk about it. Something that I think is really insidious. Like one thing I think there's like two parts of it. One is that I think that it's important for like trans people to like hold other trans people accountable. That sounds like super gay, but like it's really annoying that you can have somebody who's trans who's like obviously like clearly unwell, like shouldn't be around other fucking people, shouldn't have access to like, mentally ill Discord kittens to like indoctrinate into their like weird harem or whatever the fuck. And I think that it's like inappropriate for us to kind of like sit back and be like, oh, they're trans, so I'm not going to take shots at them. I don't think that's
Right.
fair. I think that we should be taking shots at them in that kind of sense. And then also, just like the insulated aspect of all of it, where it's like people like Poppy, and there's several people that are like this in the trans community. Aaron Green TV is another one of these people, where it's like they thrive on the idea that being trans is like a shield for criticism, and that allows them to continue to like cultivate essentially like victims in these communities because nobody wants to call them on their bullshit. And the fact that it has just stayed in this little bubble, like this shit with Courtney Orchard, with like the incest porn shit, that happened in like November
Right.
last year. And it's like nobody said anything just because nobody knew about it. So like there are still people that are like joining their community and they think that like Poppy knows what the fuck she's talking about because she's a therapist and that these are like safe people to like share your experiences with or try and like build a community or whatever. But these people are literally just looking for like the next fuck in their community essentially, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I this is a long time ago now, but I vaguely remember this when I guess I was more on the soy side of the situation. But with Jessica and Eve seemed to be like a very bad person, but some people were like worried to call them out because oh, it's only the conservatives that are saying anything. Um, and I agree that sometimes conservatives are fucking insane in the shit that they say, but like just because a conservative saying something is bad doesn't mean that it's not bad. It could be that they're right this time, and you should probably just look at it yourself and see. Because any, there are definitely people that are fucked, and they do need to be called out. I agree. Yeah.
Well, it's broken clocks and stuff, right? Like that was the one of the things like with all the Keppel shit too that bothered me, where it was like, oh my God, like all this stuff is coming from Kiwi Farms, and it's like, dude, this is like a clip of you saying this though, or like this is like an image with like a timestamp, like this is a log that leaked. Like, what do you have to say about it? Like, it doesn't matter like where it came from, obviously, like ethically sourced drama or whatever the fuck, but like this is something that you did. It doesn't really matter. Like if these people are calling you out, that doesn't mean that I'm suddenly not allowed to just because these other people are taking notice to like your fucked up behavior. And I don't have any allegiance to you just because we're both fucking trans. Like, I don't owe you shit. And I definitely don't owe you cover for being like a fucking pervert in Discord to people that probably aren't able to like get out of it themselves, right?
Yeah, sure, definitely. And I think it's quite funny when you see like Willie Mac does a video, Mutahar's doing a video, and these kind of claims of this, oh, the right wingers, it's the Kiwi farmers, start to have less weight because it's like, well, Mutahar is like not a Kiwi farmer, but then they still try and claim that because they know they've got to hang on to that in order to try and, you know, hold on to this idea that it's all bad faith right wing stuff coming at them. So,
Yeah, for sure. And that's something that I think too, like again, just like calling back is like all this shit that I have found, I saw one clip from the farm. Everything else is shit that other people have already documented and stuff that Xena and Poppy are too fucking stupid to have the fucking foresight to see that this is going to make them look bad and that they leaked themselves. You know what I mean? I all of this stuff comes from within their community and people rolling on them. I didn't have to dig for hardly any of this stuff.
yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I think, well, I mean, I would definitely recommend your coverage, as you seem to have done a much more kind of in-depth job on it. Before you go, actually, do you want to just like shout your channel out and just say a bit what you talk about there?
Yeah, it's Godamnit Malcom on YouTube. I have the last couple of videos that I did were on this specifically. I normally like talk about like trans shit or do like trans debate. Like that's kind of the content that I like to do. But I took like a year off of content creation and streaming and stuff, and I just started doing it a little bit more now. Um, but I'm greatly enjoying like the drama angle of all this. I really like drama content. I just never really did it. And I know obviously that sounds like kind of shitty. Like this isn't really drama, right? Like this is, people that are like actually fucking scary that are like licensed therapists and shit. Like that's pretty fucking scary.
Yeah, of course,
So
yeah.
I use drama like in like loose quotations,
Listen, it's
obviously.
fine. You can say
Um,
that here. No one's going to mind, okay? That we call
okay,
everything
this is
drama, all
clarifying.
right? But sure, maybe for the other side of the audience, maybe just the association here is purely an information exchange and nothing else, just to be clear, okay? Just in case your audience, the wokes, listen to the wokes. This is just an information exchange, okay? Um, but yeah, no, sure. I agree. I mean, as you maybe know a bit, I massively got into the drama, and it is kind of very tempting once you get into it. You just want to keep doing it. So, be interesting to see what other stuff you dig up if you decide to dig into some other controversies like this in the future. Certainly.
Yeah, I'm waiting patiently to see like if they're gonna do anything. I don't know because they streamed last night and it was just kind of like a word soup video for like 4 hours. But it'll be interesting to see if they like clap back on anything. I don't think they will. It seems like they're kind of getting the idea that it's very Jover, especially since it's like leaving their little bubble. So
Awesome. Well, listen, thanks for coming on, having the conversation. I appreciate it, and yeah, look forward to seeing what else happens.
yeah, of course. Take care. If there's anything else that you want, like if you are interested in any of this shit,
Mhm.
I am like autistically interested in all this. Just let me know because I have all the Tumblr links and stuff saved. So if you
Brilliant.
want more shit, just let me know.
No, appreciate that. Thanks very much. Cheers.
But yeah, no problem, bud. Have a good rest of your day. Okay,
You too. Cheers. Bye bye.
later.